Welcome to Rattan Ring Fundamentals. This fantastic classic tool is really useful. It's pretty widely unknown how to use it and what it's for. A lot of time people think that the ring is somehow connected to specific martial arts. It's not. It's the same as a wooden dummy or a speed bag or a heavy bag. Any martial art can punch a bag. Any martial art can use a ring. However, specific martial arts do have specific ways of training the ring. And so my background is in Southern Praying Mantis Kung Fu, so a lot of my training has that bent, right? It comes from that. However, there's, you can use this any way you want. The basic fundamentals gets you the ability to control the ring and use it. How you use it after you understand the fundamentals is entirely up to you. You can adapt it to your striking system, and you should. It takes you just have to realize what you're using it for. So let's talk a little bit about its purpose. So the main purpose of the ring is supposed to be a substitute for the wooden man. If you do not have a portable it's like a portable wooden dummy. It's like a portable speed bag, portable heavy bag. You can take it with you, all right? However, its purposes are slightly different, okay? It's more like think about it like a shadow boxing aid. It's a way for you to practice your hands, okay? And then keep the hands gated, all right? So if you think about punching a bag, particularly like a wooden dummy where you're using your forearms a lot, okay? Use your palm, use your forearm, use your back fist. That's how you use a dummy. That's the primary way of using a ring. Dummies are expensive, particularly if you try to go and like buy a Wing Chun dummy, a really nice wood and everything. They can be $600, $800, $1,000, right? And the other thing is the wooden dummies, they stay in one spot. So you have to train in one spot. And so you can only use your footwork in that area. When you have the ring, you can move around a bit more, all right? So it gives you the ability to train your footwork in addition to your striking. But the cool thing is that you're able to move around the room and use the ring as a point of resistance, a point of feedback. And during this time of pandemic and lockdowns and so on and so forth, and all sorts of restrictions where you're not able to train with a partner, this is really useful. One of the main uses of a wooden dummy is to hit your forearms against the arms of the dummy to weaponize your arms. So that when you hit someone or someone hits you, you do damage with your forearm, all right? So if you have to cover, when someone starts throwing a barrage of strikes at your head, you have to cover up. It's not gonna hurt you, it's gonna hurt them, all right? Also, if someone's in your way, if their hands are in your way and their hands are up, okay, you want to destroy whatever is in your way before you hit them in the head, okay? So a lot of times when our hands come up, I'm looking just to eat anything in my way. If it's a kick, if it's a punch, if it's an arm, whatever's in front of me, I'm going to smash it on my way to hit my opponent. When I'm smashing, I want to make sure that my arm is like a baseball bat. I want to be able to hit my opponent so hard, or anytime I touch them, I want to do damage, all right? So using a ring to create that feedback every time you hit it, okay, it's going to turn your arm into a weapon as opposed to something that maybe you hit something, maybe you block something or whatever, and all of a sudden your hands start shaking. And if you've done any sort of self-defense training, any sort of iron body conditioning, you know that feeling. When you hit just a little too hard and you don't want to hit again, right? This is what we want to avoid. If we have to have a physical confrontation with another person, we want to make sure that our body's a weapon. This is how we use it, okay? This is one of the main ways you can access that type of skill, and you can weaponize your forearms through using the rattan ring, okay? And it is a replacement for the dummy. So when you're using it, you're going to use it in ways where maybe both hands are going to be moving inside the ring, okay? Maybe you'll hold the outside and you'll hook uppercut, jab, overhand right, uppercut. And by just holding the ring, you can find points of balance when you're fighting. And it kind of gives you some cool options as far as angles of fighting too. So this hand position is called the control position. And it's number 4 on our list. Okay? I'm just gonna start with that. It's not one of the essential ones, but it's one of the, it's an important one. When you hold it and you uppercut and hook and then jab and then overhand and then hook, just by holding the ring in this position will give you an understanding where your hand should be. Boom, 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 boom. That other hand is always going to be equal opposite, right? It's not going to be sleeping. This is one of what we call balancing the hands, and it's one of the benefits of using a ring, is that every time I throw one hand out, my other hand has to do something too. It can't sleep. So if I throw a hook, boom, where's my other hand? It's right by my face. And if I'm a boxer, that's really, really good. Okay? If I'm not a boxer, if I'm just learning self-defense, it's teaching me to keep my knuckles close to my face. Boom, boom, boom. So it teaches you to balance your hands. If one hand goes out, the other hand has to be doing something else too. It can't be asleep. This is one of those things that happens particularly when you start training in close combat. After you've broken through the main distance and you start infighting, when you infight, it's really important that both hands stay active and are alive. If one hand sleeps while the other one punches, you can get stuck. Your opponent can grab you. You can get caught sleeping. That's what I usually call it. All right. So this is one of the benefits of using the ring by balancing the hands in the control position. Okay. Teach it. Use it like you are using like a spear. So at any point of the spear, you can strike. Okay. It's really good. Access your waist when you do some of the strikes, side, up, down, over, around. Just by using the control position, access your waist, twist on your feet like you would if you were punching. You know, you're gonna twist your foot, boom, 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 boom. Okay, punching with the feet pivoting. So it's a nice way that you can use the ring to balance your hands to make sure that your hands aren't asleep. Like I said before, you can condition with the ring. This is the main kind of goal. And so while you're playing and doing these things like this, you can slip your hand into the ring, grab it, and start using it to condition, and then switch, and then start conditioning with the other hand. And you start using your forearm on the ring like a weapon. Hit outside, hit the top, go through, grind the forearm when you strike, all right? When you first start training with the ring, you're gonna have black and blue bruises from your wrist to your elbow. This is normal. It's common when you use a dummy. If you bruise a lot, you should use the liniment Ditta Jiao. A Ditta Jiao is a Chinese liniment used to heal the body and strengthen the muscles, tendons, and bones. You rub it into the hematoma and it will heal faster, right? It creates the iron bridge, which is what we're trying to create. We weaponize the forearm, it's called the iron bridge, so that every time you touch someone, it does damage, all right? So as far as purposes are concerned, you can use the control position to balance your hands. You can use the inside of the ring for striking. You can also do some, what we call technique flow. Technique flow is like, you know, you do like a punch, back fist. You can do like a sweep to the side, you can palm, and you can use the ring in a way that's similar to shadow boxing. Like I said, it's like a way to create feedback. If you don't have any person in front of you, you use the ring to create feedback when you're striking. Uppercut, straight punch, hooks, and you have it gating your hands, right? So that's another one of its uses. Now, I'll briefly discuss the size and the weight of rings. A lot of times, people who come from particular martial arts that have the ring in their system don't understand that there are different shapes and sizes of rings and that you can do different shit with them. All right? Some people come to a rattan ring and they only know how to do technique flow. You know, it's really common that people will use really small rings. So it's like from my wrist to my elbow. This is useful for learning really tight movements. If you want to practice getting inside really tight angles and small spaces with an opponent, the tinier rings are useful for that. It helps it helps you stretch, because if you have a broad chest and you can't keep your elbows in close in front of you, then these smaller rings are good to help stretch the body out. But the smaller rings are really hard to hit on the inside. You don't really have the conditioning element to it. So a smaller ring is going to have a more of a specific use, all right, as opposed to a bigger ring. So when I think about training, where I can do every different type of style of training, so conditioning, balancing my hands, technique flow, right? Even the strength training stuff, okay? I want a ring that's big enough that I can move inside of. So if I want to hit and I want to condition my forearm, I need some space here. If it's too small, I'm going to be going tick. It's not going to do the trick. It needs a big enough diameter. So for me, a good ring is going to basically be the width of my chest or close to it. All right, that's a good place to start. If the ring is much bigger, you'll be kind of just swimming inside and it's too big. If the ring is too small, it'll burn your shoulders out before you even get started, and you won't have a good experience. But if you have an average size ring, anywhere between basically 12 to 14 inches, that's the best place to start, okay? Because you'll be able to do the same type of stuff you would do on a dummy, and you would gate your hands in a similar way. If you're fighting, one's forward, one's back, right? Boom, 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 boom. One's on the inside, one's on the outside. And on top of that, if the ring is big enough, it means that I can hit in the face, and my other hand is in my, what we call the middle gate. So one hand could be punching at the head, while the other hand is in the middle gate, protecting and watching, all right? If you use a really small ring, you want to punch up, then both hands have to go up, which for some people, this is not a natural way for them to fight, okay? So I just wanted to give a highlight as to what are the benefits of using different sizes of rings. Now, when it comes to the weight of the ring, the Emperor ring is by far the best thing that you can have. It's quite a bit thicker than a rattan ring. So here's a mantis ring, or just a regular rattan ring, and here's the Emperor ring. You can see right away how much bigger this is than this, all right? It's also about 1.5 pounds, about a pound. This is a standard Emperor ring, all right? So it's about 13.75 inches, and it's almost a pound, 1.5 pounds. This is about 8 ounces, okay? It's much more challenging to use, but it's absolutely doable. Everything that I've learned that I'm going to teach you today came from a rattan ring first. And then I developed the Emperor ring in order to have a tool that was a little bit heavier, that I could hit harder, that would give me more resistance, okay? And the Emperor ring comes in 4 sizes. So if you're a bigger dude and you need a bigger ring, something that's heavier, the largest ring is called Da Ge, or Big Brother. It's fully 2 pounds. It's really, really, really great, really solid. The second to that is the standard. The standard is 13.75, and it's just over 1 pound, 1.5 pounds. Then you have your classic ring, which is 12 inches, and then you have the little idea, which I made specifically for my Wing Chun brothers and sisters, which is 10 inches, which is also nice and thick, but it's quite a bit smaller, more specific for their style. So having an emperor ring is going to improve the practice. All right. So let's start. That's a bit about the size of the rings, the uses of the ring. Now let's talk about how to use it.